Hey guys, and welcome to the Fish Room. I'm Rachel O'Leary, and today we're going to talk about my top 5 favorite plants that I use in my aquariums to help my fish spawn. Now these are all going to be low light, low tech, easy plants because you know that's what I prefer the most. The sort of plants that will just grow with minimal attention. Now it's important first to understand why we would use plants at all. They can not only aid in the nitrification process, absorbing those wastes that are produced through the natural processes of our fish, but they also provide a whole bunch of different surfaces for egg layers to deposit their eggs, for things like baby live bearers to hide in, and they can just make our fish more comfortable and more prone to spawning. And another benefit is that the stuff that gets caught on them and that grows on them, that sort of natural slimy feeling that occurs in our aquariums, can also be great first food for newly hatched fry. So let's take a look at 5 of my favorite plants for spawning fish. Now I thought we would talk about moss first, just because it's probably the most readily available and commonly used species of plant in order for breeding fish. In this aquarium, which is a 10-gallon short side out, I started with a golf ball sized lump of this unknown moss. It's probably a Java type. And this aquarium houses live bearers. In fact, it houses Endler's live bearers. And if you've ever worked with any of these small live bearers, you know that their fry are exceptionally small, especially since the adult fish only get about an inch. By providing this moss, which spreads and coats most surfaces, in an aquarium like this that just has sponge filtration, it essentially provides an entire area of the aquarium where the fry can hide from adults which may otherwise eat them. I find it to be really easy, although moss can be prone to developing algae, specifically hair algae. I find though that if you fluff it when you are cleaning your aquarium, meaning you poke it with a chopstick and hover the siphon over it, or simply squeeze it out, removing some of that excess detritus helps cut down on the occurrence of this hair algae. Now I use this in lots of aquariums. Let's look at another one. Now in this aquarium I have Christmas moss, and you can tell it's Christmas moss because the fronds that grow form a Christmas tree type shape, and there are tons and tons and tons of mosses on the market, and almost all of them are pretty darn easy, at least in my experience. Of course your mileage will vary. I like to tuck it along the base of wood or in crevices of the rocks, spots where fry may hide out in order to avoid larger fish in the aquarium. Next, we're going to talk about Tang. Now, this used to be called a liverwort, but it's actually in the fern family. It's really, really pretty, and similar to moss, it doesn't really develop any roots, so you can sort of cram it into nooks and crannies where it'll form these mats, which are perfect for the teeny tiny fry to hide in. This aquarium also houses live bearers, wild guppies, and the fry are minuscule. And using something like this Tang really gives those babies a place to hide and some surfaces to graze on when I'm feeding the aquarium. Now I find this stuff to be kind of invasive because if you break it, both sides will continue to reproduce. So if you leave one little speck or introduce one little speck into an aquarium, it's kind of there for life. That being said, I think it's really beautiful and super easy to use and is an excellent, excellent plant for shrimp tanks in particular, but also for fishes that have small fry. I also have it in my 150-gallon hill stream just because it looks cool, and you can see how it's sort of infiltrated the end of this rock here, and if left unchecked it would make giant mats. Again, perfect for smaller fish or fry to hide in. Now the next plant we're going to talk about are Anubius, and I have these all over my fish room. I think they are without a doubt one of the easiest and best beginner plants for folks to try. They can tolerate basically any water conditions, require very, very little help from us as aquarists, and come in a wide range of leaf shapes and sizes, and they really add some beautiful layers to an aquarium. These are ones that you do not plant into the substrate for the most part, or if you do, you only plant the roots, not the thumb-like structure at the base of the plant, which is called the rhizome, and they'll spread across wood or decor very, very readily. Now I found that a lot of fish really like to deposit their eggs on the underside or even the top side of Anubius leaves. The very firm structure of these leaves makes them an excellent point for sticky eggs to stick to. And I found this especially useful when breeding things like Coreodorus catfish, as well as Otocinclus. In fact, in my 75-gallon South American aquarium here, I've included lots of different sizes and shapes of Anubius because I have Otocinclus in here, and I found that they really often will lay their eggs on the underside of these leaves, and it's a great way to encourage them to spawn. Not only that, Anubius is absolutely gorgeous, and again, as I mentioned, super easy to grow. I'm also a big fan of crypts. Now, crypts come in many shapes and sizes as well as difficulty level. But they all pretty much propagate by sending runners, though in nature they will produce spats which then produce seeds to reproduce. Now they can be prone to melting, but if you don't disturb them too much, they'll eventually spread in a nice big carpet. And providing this dense mat of plants at the bottom of an aquarium, again, can be a great place for new fry to hide or for fish to spawn in, or to simply aid in the nitrification in our aquariums. Now I have a whole bunch of different types in this fish room, but I tend to put them in areas of the aquarium where I want to encourage spawning. Like here in my Poecilochaerix weitzmanni or black darter tetra tank, I have a huge carpet of this smaller crypt in this aquarium, which really has provided a safe haven for these relatively shy fish otherwise, which are prone to hiding. By having this cover all along the front of the aquarium, it makes the fish more likely to come to the front, and they have been spawning readily. Now in this aquarium I have a mix of Sagittarius subulata and Cryptocorin parva, which is the spatula-shaped leaves. And I really like having this small, dense crypt in the front of my shrimp aquariums. Again, just because it gives them lots of spots to hide after molting, as well as surfaces to graze on. And having dense areas of planting in a shrimp aquarium can really help increase your yield, improve their coloration, and just give them surfaces to graze on, because as aquarists, we're often prone to overfeeding our shrimp, so this ensures that they always have something to munch on. Now, one of the most popular and time-tested aquarium plants for breeding fish is this one here, and as you can see, this guppy grass has absolutely infiltrated every inch of this 75-gallon aquarium. In fact, you can't even see any fish. And this is called guppy grass because it's really popular with live bearer breeders, as it provides this dense mat that is an excellent place for baby fish to hide. I also really like to use this grass in my shrimp aquariums. It's exceptionally fast growing. You can try and plant it, or it makes these great floating mats. It acts very much like a spawning mop. It's got a beautiful bright green color, and it is almost absolutely bomb-proof. So this is an excellent choice for someone who's new to keeping fish. Now I will note that this does not root well, so if you have strong directional filtration, this is probably not the plant for you because it'll get blown around and stuck everywhere. But it is very easy and exceptionally useful in a breeding aquarium. Now these are just a few of the many plants I like to use in my low-tech, low-light aquariums, and they're the ones that I think will be most easy for you guys to source as well as use for your own aquariums. They're readily available all over the internet and most often at local fish clubs because they really are considered to be some of the easiest. As always, thank you guys for your continued support. Let me know below which is your favorite plant, and if you have any comments, suggestions, or questions, please make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And make sure you stop by my Instagram at Ms. Jangst or Rachel O'Leary so that you can see lots of behind the scenes pictures.